Discipline has to do with the process of learning. And knowing that isn't enough to raise self-disciplined kids. It has to be transferable to your kids. What you're trying to do is make the process of learning fun or enjoyable so they'll want discipline and not struggle with it. And you also need to know that not all discipline works the same. I mean, think about it. You can learn because someone forces you to, or you can learn because you want to. Both involve learning, but they produce like two different kinds of people. One depends on someone else to keep them on track, and the other enjoys the process of learning and starts to guide themselves. If you're trying to raise self-disciplined kids, you need to understand the difference between forced discipline and self-discipline. Let's start with forced discipline. Now, I have personally never heard anybody call it forced discipline. As far as I know, that's my term. But that's essentially what you're doing. You're forcing your kid to learn something that they don't really want to learn right now. You are controlling the process of learning. And whether you like it or not, this is a required parenting skill. It's part of raising self-disciplined kids, no matter what. Now, as the parent, you are the boss. And you're going to decide what's important to learn, why it's important, and when it's going to be taught. Your child is not qualified to make such decisions. Just take into consideration how long they've been on this planet. How long has it been? 2 years, 5 years? They have no idea what's important or why. But you do, because you've lived on this planet a while. You know what's important. Kids want what they want. They don't naturally care about saying please or thank you or brushing their teeth or looking both ways before they cross the street. They think farting on command at the dinner table is hilarious. But you don't, because you're trying to prepare them for life. You want to give them every opportunity to survive and hopefully thrive in this world. That means sometimes you're going to have to make them learn things that they don't even know they should care about yet. That is forced discipline, and it's necessary. Now, forced discipline can only carry a kid so far. At some point, you're going to have to give the learning process back to your kid. When you transfer the process of learning back to them and they accept it, that is called self-discipline. Self-discipline is based on curiosity about capability. I used to tell my students all the time, you got to get curious about how awesome you could be. That's what you're trying to create. A kid who doesn't always need someone standing over them, or one that doesn't need to be reminded every 5 minutes. A kid who doesn't have to be forced to practice or learn or get better. They just want to, because they're genuinely curious about what they're capable of. They'll start asking questions and experimenting. They start testing strategies. They start paying attention to what works and what doesn't work. They start taking responsibility for their own growth. The parent isn't controlling the process anymore. The child is. If you did your job as a parent, you didn't just teach them manners or brush your teeth or look both ways before they cross the road. You taught them how to learn. And then you got out of their way so they could control the process of learning and keep growing for the rest of their lives. That is self-discipline. Forced discipline is necessary because it establishes the parameters and provides a safe environment for learning. Self-discipline is necessary because it gives your child the freedom to explore or experiment and get curious about their own capabilities. Forced discipline is the boundaries, and self-discipline is the ability to test inside those boundaries. And you should start both as early as possible. Don't wait until forced discipline is finished. There is no finish. Forced discipline creates the environment, and self-discipline teaches your child how to grow inside it. Then, little by little, as they grow and they mature, you expand the environment until they're capable of creating and protecting an environment of their own. That's the goal. It's not to control the process of learning for your kid forever, but to gradually transfer control of the process as they get more and more capability. If you're trying to raise a self-disciplined kid, subscribe to Foundations of Character, because in the next lesson, we're going to take a much deeper look at forced discipline, how it works, and how to use it without creating dependency. I'll see you next time.